So it's time for, what are we calling this?
Big deal news?
It's kind of a big deal news.
It's kind of a big deal news.
Dirty, sexy, news.
Where we look at all of this week's news stories.
Dun, dun, dun.
First, this goes back to what you were saying about Snow White and Sleeping Beauty. Wait, Sleeping Beauty. Kingdom Hearts 2.5 was announced. Is a single fuck given here?
No.
Yes.
No. I know a couple of our fans really enjoy Kingdom Hearts, so they'll be happy to hear it. It's Kingdom Hearts 2 and another one of those games that nobody cared about. That's going to be...
by sleep
We have a hardcore Kingdom Hearts fan right here.
and then recoded.
So one of the ones that nobody cared about is going to be in video only form.
It was a
Recoded, that's only in
it was a Game Boy Advance game that got ported to the PS2. Now is being re-released.
No.
in
No. Chain of Memories is the one that was originally Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, isn't that on the PS2 then?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's in the 2.5.
No, it's in 1.5.
Oh, well, whatever.
2.5
Kingdom Hearts
used to be a cell phone game only in Japan. Then they released it in the US and everywhere else on the DS.
Okay, so
Learned
Kingdom
something
Hearts
new today.
2 and additional games.
More content.
Yes, Kingdom Hearts 1.5. We've talked about this the last few weeks. It seems.
So
If
we
you're-
got what, 2016? 2017?
No, I think
Soon.
no. Actually, I think soon. Like
So how did 1.5 did
Next
1.5
year,
take a
they're
while?
supposed to be.
I think they said
I
2014.
think they're going to want to release it ahead of Kingdom Hearts 3.
Well, yeah, but that's never coming out, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Just like Final Fantasy 15 will be out in like 4 years.
No, well, this is just if they do the same things they did with 1.5, there is no reason this should take that long.
Yeah, like basically doing nothing.
Yeah.
Just up-resing
yeah.
a little bit.
Okay.
So, more news.
More news!
You
That was
toss it and
that was dirty and sexy.
you toss it and say Craig Ferguson.
At the end.
At the end.
GTA 4 is coming to the PC
GTA 5.
in early Grand Theft Auto is coming to the PC in early 2014.
Somebody doesn't know their Roman numerals.
I wrote 4.
That's a 4.
5.
I forgot that we're on number 5. That shows the amount of care I have towards the Grand Theft Auto series. Go.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. Good for the PC gamers. But I mean, what PC gamer doesn't own at least a 360 or a PS3? Where if you needed to play this game, you have to wait an additional year, just because you're that stubborn on PC gaming. Really?
Well, you get the mods. That'll be interesting.
I'm not saying there's no reason for it, but who the hell is like?
That is
Who's waiting? Yeah. No, everybody wants to mod it. Are the only people that are waiting for this?
yeah.
Like, just pick it up on the PS3, man. You could have been playing it for 2 months already. You're really that stubborn? Master Race my ass.
Do you
They get everything laced.
do you think this is Grand Theft Auto 5 coming to the PS4? You think? And the one,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
the one, is that what we call it? The one.
The one.
I hear that and I think maybe.
You gotta get really creepy and open your eyes really wide, like, the one.
So, do you think that Grand Theft Auto 5 is coming to the PS4 and the one?
I do. Late, but yeah, it'll be there. Why not? Even it's not gonna be really hard to port over, and they don't have to guarantee better graphics or anything. It could be a straight port over. Even if it
Like
sells
nothing new?
Yeah,
at
and
all?
even if it's maybe a free DLC pack or like a Game of the Year edition that comes with all the DLC included, sell for $60. You print 2 or 3 million of them, they'll sell. Costs nothing, and they'll sell another 2-3 million copies.
Relatively nothing. Yeah.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
More news.
Oh wait, real quick before we move off GTA 5, this is supposed to be the week where you get the $500,000 apology money toward your Grand Theft Auto 5.
It's a stimulus package.
Yeah, according to Jason. It's $500,000 that they're going to give to your online character because of their fumbling of the first day and a half of the online portion.
Yeah, I gotta. Why? There hasn't been really that much backlash about this.
Rockstar gets a free pass because people like their games. When somebody that...
If this was EA,
if this was EA, it'd be the same thing like SimCity. SimCity sorted it out after 3 or 4 days.
right? I know.
But people talked about it for months. The same thing happened with everything, you know? When a company's on the fucking pitchforks already, and they do the slightest thing wrong, it blows up. But Rockstar, everybody loves them.
Yeah.
They can't do anything wrong. So when they do the exact same thing that EA and stuff have done, which isn't really the exact same thing, because, I mean, Grand Theft Auto, if the online doesn't work, you can still play offline.
Mm-hmm.
EA, when the Sims didn't work, you couldn't fucking play, which is why you stay away from always online. But, you know, Rockstar everybody's in love with, so they can't do any wrong. You know, they can pee on your bed, and you'll be like, oh, how creative, Rockstar.
They're kind of the Michael Jackson of the gaming industry.
What?
Michael Jackson, there are people who, like...
He's made a lot of bad songs, but to some people, every song's like
Okay.
the greatest song
If
ever.
if we're talking strictly in music.
Well, no,
Michael
even
Jackson.
outside that, there are people who, to this day, are just...
Okay.
oh, yeah, absolutely. Just like Michael Jackson was the greatest human being in the history of the world to them.
Okay. More news.
Sure.
GameStop Black Friday ad has been leaked.
Yes.
A lot of goodies. New 3DS bundle. 2 new 3DS bundles, actually. One is just a Luigi's Mansion bundle, I think for $199.99.
Same price, yeah. And,
But it's not a custom 3DS, right? It's just the bundle.
it's a bundle.
Yeah. Then there's a new Legend of Zelda bundle. Comes with a Link Between Worlds. It's the XL.
220, I think?
220.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the 3DS portion. They have 360 bundle that got leaked or whatever. Tomb Raider and Halo 4. Similar to what they did last year with Forza 4 and Skyrim, I believe. The PS3 bundle, I can't think of.
Well,
off
how much
the
is
top.
the 360 bundle?
I think $250.
It's a good deal.
It comes with a big hard drive though. The hard drive alone's $100, and Halo 4 and Tomb Raider. It's a pretty good deal.
I think anything over 200 with the new consoles out is too expensive.
Once the
It
console
might
hit,
be 200. I
Well,
don't
it's
know.
Black Friday,
I'm
so it's after
guessing.
the
I'm
console's
guessing. I don't know.
This is the problem the Wii U will have. Anything when you're in that 250 to 300 range, and you're gonna buy a current gen console or a Wii U, if you're willing to shell out that much, that's a lot of money. But it's not that much of a leap forward to the PS4.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think those are too expensive. I think a $199 bundle could sell that's like the PS, like what the PS3 is currently. The Slim. If they package something in with that,
It'll fly.
then they can sell PS3s and PS4 simultaneously.
Mhm.
But this, I don't know. What is the PS3 bundle? Do you know?
I was trying to think. I don't remember. Brian's pulling up the GameStop ad right now. It should be the front page.
Okay.
Batman, maybe?
While he's pulling it up, GameStop also announced they are releasing, re-releasing, or whatever, Metroid Prime Trilogy and Xenoblade Chronicles for the Wii. The games that they have stockpiled and
That's
been
right,
selling
man.
for like 80,
I know,
90
but
bucks.
it's not. The site is fucked up.
They're not going to be up for 40 bucks, but probably only 2 or 3 per store.
You just had to scroll over in the picture. It was
No,
right
no,
there.
no, no. I'd actually.
It was
tapped
The Last of Us and something else.
Batman.
It's The Last of Us and the new Batman for back out a little. $199. How much is the 360?
Okay, so they're both 200.
Okay.
But the
All right.
much newer games on the.
The Last of Us.
The Last of Us and Batman are much newer than Halo 4 and Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Okay, so a 250 gig PS3 with Batman and Last of Us for 200. That sells. That sells.
They're only going to
That
give us.
will definitely
They do this
sell.
every year. They give you 4 per store. They're gone in 5 minutes. You don't get that all day. They're packages. You can't just walk in and grab a separate PS3, a separate copy of Arkham Origins, and a separate copy of Last of Us. That give me the $200. They're these pre-packaged boxes to get people into the store, and every store only has 3 or 4 bundles.
Are they physical copy games?
Yes and no. Last year, Skyrim was a download, and Forza 4 was the actual copy.
Okay.
So it could go either way.
Like, I don't see why
The big thing on this sale thing, real quick, sorry. PlayStation Plus, which if you're getting a PS4, you're going to need anyway, is going to be $30 for a year. I'm going to buy 2 years because they stack, and I will be set for quite some time.
When does your current subscription end?
January.
Oh, okay. Why not buy 3 years?
I might.
I thought about buying this month because for every 50 you spend in October, you get $10 back. So that would be another year.
Yeah, but for $50 for another $10, you can get 2 years. Fuck the $10.
It's 40. You said it's 40 or 30.
30.
30.
Oh, it's 30.
So you can get yours for 40, yours for 30.
Mm-hmm.
So
You're right.
I did find that about the link between books.
Some other great deals are going on games, but I'm not going to list them all. The crazy one is Battlefield 4 on current gen only, which kind of sucks, is $30.
Mm-hmm.
But that game's like gonna be a week and a half old at that point, 2 weeks old.
wow, is that going to be a limited? Or,
No, it's Friday only though. It's all day.
Wow, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. That's a really big deal.
Mm-hmm. And
That'll sell 1 million units that day, even at a week and a half old. Because if people know that,
which they will.
Battlefield's a game they can wait. The Call of Duty audience might buy.
I think it's gonna kill them overnight. Like, because this leaked so early. I think Battlefield 4 sales are gonna like plummet now.
Oh, day one sales.
Yeah.
Because
They
Black
just
Friday-
just murdered them. The other interesting thing, if the other three people own a Vita out there, 8 gig memory cards are $10. That's ridiculous.
Aren't they usually
25.
okay? That's a good hefty margin.
I'm gonna buy 2 or 3 of them just for backups for games.
Do they stack?
Assassin's Creed 3 is also $40.
Okay, nobody
And
cares.
WWE
Or 4, rather.
2K14.
Assassin's Creed 4.
Oh, Assassin's Creed 4.
4.
40
For
bucks.
PS3,
Yeah,
It's $40.
40 bucks is okay.
That
30
was gonna
bucks is
happen
a
anyway.
bigger
It's a
deal.
Ubisoft game. 2
Yeah.
weeks after fucking.
30 bucks is a big deal. 40 bucks
WWE
not so much.
2K14's on there for $40 also.
I don't think 40 bucks is a big deal. I think 30 is a bigger deal. That's half off for a game.
that just
Battlefield
came out.
holds its value too.
Oh.
That Battlefield will still be 50 in stores by early next year. No?
Battlefield doesn't have the
No,
legacy
because
sales
it'll
that Call of Duty has.
it'll be up there for a while, but then it'll come down. It'll go back up to 60 because then they'll re-release a Ultimate Edition, and then after that they'll have the Game of the Year. Like Battlefield 3 released like 3 times. So anyway,
Give it away free on PlayStation.
we're not going to read the entire ad off to you. It's easily findable. Just Black Friday GameStop 2013 ad. It's on every major
Yeah.
video game site. It's all over.
Yeah.
We're not going to go piece by piece with you guys, but it was a big story from the week.
Why doesn't that $200 PS3 bundle is very intriguing, and I think that would move a lot of units, but you really think it's going to be very limited?
Oh, I know it's going to be. They do it every year. This is not a new concept. They do
Yeah.
this every Black Friday.
That's
There's
that's a
3 or 4
crazy deal,
PlayStations
though.
and 3 or 4 Xboxes.
What is The Last of Us? Is that still a $60 new game right now?
Yeah, it's been on sale for $40 a few times, but yeah, it's still $60.
Right now, if I were to walk into a game store,
It might be on sale for $40, but yeah, it's a $60 game. It goes
Yeah.
on sale for a week here and there, you know.
Batman is a $20 game now.
No, it's
No, that's the brand new Batman
Arkham
that
Origins.
comes out tomorrow. There are 2
Oh.
days.
yeah.
That's not
Friday.
Arkham City.
No, Arkham Origins.
Oh my goodness.
I know that's a real get.
Okay.
That's a hell of a deal. You're
See,
basically,
I thought it was Arkham City.
no, it's Arkham. So you're basically getting a PS3 for $100 and then 2 games.
2 games that are, if you're a PS3 owner, those are much almost must-own games for this
They're
year.
big deal
I mean,
games. Absolutely.
They're kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
So wow, I think they could. Well, I don't know. Maybe they can even drop the Batman thing and just do this with a mass quantity. Do a $200 Last of Us
I
bundle.
think they're taking a hit on these. It's just to get them out the door.
What would they take a hit on them for? A Last of Us bundle. Just put a digital download of Last of Us in there.
I'm sure you get
that
for
costs
an-
them like electrons are cheap, so
I suppose.
At this point, they could probably be fairly cheap. They made their money on Last of Us, like in terms of profit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every store I've ever worked at has those. It goes on the Black Friday deals. They're to get people into the stores. They're ridiculously limited quantities. I can't believe Xbox. I think last year we had 7 of the bundle, which was a really good deal too. And they were gone in 2 minutes. They just get because all day long
People come
Those
in
two
looking for that.
those two things on that front page, the PS3 for 200.
Everybody comes in for that.
Everybody's gonna walk in and be like, "Do you have any of the bundles left?" No, but they look around and usually buy something,
Yeah.
and it works all day.
The one Black Friday that Tony and I worked, it was a bust. We had like maybe 50 people at our store, and everyone came in just for those.
And they sold out in 2 minutes
And
because
then
there was
I jumped-
4 of
And
them.
then I jumped in the car and went and got some from Glenview.
Okay. More news!
More news.
Sonic Lost World released this week, and a lot of bad reviews, or mixed reviews, I should say. And we were sort of talking about this off camera. First of all, the game, depending on which website or publisher you read, or outlet you read, anywhere from 5s, 6s, 7s. Some reviews as high as the mid-9s, but what are your thoughts on Sonic Lost World? You haven't played it yet.
I have not. This was the game that was finally going to make me want the Wii U. And then I saw the reviews, and I decided against it. But leading into the last couple weeks, I was getting cold feet anyway. I was like, when the hell am I going to play this a Wii U if I get one? I got the PS4 and the Xbox One. I'm looking very forward to them. I'd rather play those. So I actually worked out a deal with Brian, and I said I would buy the game for him if I can come over for 2 4-hour sessions or whatever, beat the game. That would save me the $200 or $300 of having to buy the console, and then he could just keep the game afterwards. So then he'd be able to play it as well, and he said that was fine. Then the reviews came out, and I decided I don't even want to do that. Currently, we're looking at 63 on Metacritic. That takes like Ma said, one guy gave it a 9. Everybody else is 80 or under. It went as low as a 20, a 2 out of 10.
Now, judging from review scores, though, I might be wrong. The hardcore Sonic fans, both of you out there, might be upset with this, but Sonic really hasn't had a good reviewed Sonic game in 15 years. When was the last? They're all 7s, some 6s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's ever been an 8 or higher aggregate score for a Sonic game.
Not since Sonic Adventure. Right?
Sonic Generations deserved it.
Chronicles, the handheld one.
Well, I think Sonic has, it's almost like it's got a bad reputation where amongst reviewers, it's got it's like, oh, a new Sonic game is coming out, then it has an immediate ceiling of 8.0, where no game can ever be over, no Sonic game will ever be more than 8.0, in an aggregate score. Because some people just think,
It's got a weird stigma around it.
yeah, and we were talking off camera a little bit, it's like, what is going on with your phone?
I'm getting 80 fucking text messages at once, and the fucking battery's dying.
Did it fit in there?
Oh, thank you.
Anyway, it's sort of like the opposite effect, I think, that
That's important.
the opposite things that the Legend of Zelda series has, where that has a review floor, where it's like, oh, a Zelda, you could put a bag of crap and put Zelda on it, or immediately for some websites it's already an 8, and then if it's a decent game, then it's a 9.
And if it's official, Moss will buy it.
Yes. But Sonic, it's like, oh, a new Sonic game is coming out. All right, it's a 6. If it's a good game, then it might make it creep into the 7s. Case in point, I was watching the review. We can drop the name, but I was watching the Game Trailers review of Sonic, and they said almost nothing but good things. And then review comes up. I think it was 7.2 or 7.6, and I'm like, wow,
The exact opposite of Tony's Painkiller. You thought it was going to be a 3.
But the point is, if you watched that review up until the last 15 seconds where they gave the score, everybody would want to buy it. Until the score came out and it was like, oh. So, I don't know. Wait, hold on. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, everybody lives on their phone.
Great podcast.
Huh?
Great.
You're the one distracting me. And what the hell's wrong with
All
your
right.
iPhone? Why did it just send me 80 text messages with 3 words per text?
I have no idea.
That was him. He sent me like, it's one paragraph. Look at this. Every text has like 5 fucking words on it.
It's showing
Yeah,
up.
that's weird.
I think that's all the news
Thank you.
for today. So,
What
Yeah. What are we doing?
It's is it time?
No, wait, it's not time.
Oh, it's not.
It's not.
I don't remember the order of operations.
It's part 3 of 3. Fireside Chat. If you guys have been following recently, 2 weeks ago we did a thing where if Nintendo called tomorrow and told us we were in charge of Nintendo starting the following day, what will we do? Last week we did the same scenario for Microsoft.
So, Microsoft, yes.
So this week we'll wrap it up. We'll start over there and come this way.
Okay.
So today, Sony calls and says, Brian, tomorrow you're in charge of the video game division, because Sony's a big company. We did this with Microsoft as well. You're not in charge of TVs and shit.
All right.
You are the one supreme head. What do you do with Sony? Do you stay the
Okay.
course? Do you change everything? You change a few things? Go ahead.
I do a few things. One, I make a PS4 Vita bundle for $500
$500
because the Vita is not selling too well, but it has potential. Maybe that gets some more out the door, gets into people's hands, because the Vita can act as a controller for the PS4, and the second screen functionality for the PS4 gets people to use it. Kind of like the Kinect bundle, only people actually use it possibly. The Vita has a much better deal than the Kinect. Maybe 500 is not possible. If that's not possible, then I wouldn't do it financially. I wouldn't go anywhere any higher than that, because even that's kind of high. But you gotta these things are expensive to produce. The other thing I would do is sit down with the engineers and ask them why the hell it takes 3.5 gigs of memory for their operating system. What is going on there? I would find a way to get some more resources available to the developers for future games, because that just seems crazy to me. Other than that, I think Sony's doing all right now. Yeah, the Vita is probably the black mark for them right now. I'd also find a way to get some 64 gig cards out there that don't cost $1 million. That would probably be good too.
They're coming out.
They're coming out, but they haven't given a price and they haven't given
$100.
for the 64 gig. That's how much the 32s were.
Yeah, the 32s dropped to $80.
Oh. I suppose.
That's
Have
way
they-
too
have they
much
given-
money.
That's way too much money. Have they given a U.S. release date yet or no?
That's awful.
That's got to
really
happen.
bad.
It's got
really bad.
the 64. I can see them being a little higher. 64 shouldn't be more than 80. 32 shouldn't be more than 40.
Yeah.
Even that's high.
40 is
40 is high.
When I
You can get a micro SD, a high end, good high speed micro SD, 32 gig for like $20, $25.
They don't care.
They should.
No, they shouldn't, because
That's part of what's keeping the Vita down.
No, they did that with the PSP and they got raped because they did exactly what you guys are saying. This is why there's a proprietary.
No, I understand why they have the proprietary memory. They don't have to do the micro SD, but they have to get closer in line with other memory. No other memory card costs as much as the Vita memory card.
No, I know. They're coming down
It's more
in
than
price.
3 times the cost of anybody else's
Is
memory
the
card.
cost because they're expensive or
Yes.
because they can charge them?
No.
No,
they're
it's
expensive,
because
they're
because they're proprietary. They can't produce them in the same quantities that they produce anything else. Nothing else uses the Vita memory.
But they
card.
are coming down in price. This is like 1.5-year-old technology. They are coming down in price.
Yeah, but not enough. $80 for 32 gigs is still way too much money. Way too much money.
I don't get why they should cost this much money. It doesn't make sense to me.
That's a bigger gouge than like Apple's almost a bigger gouge, I should say.
No,
than
it's not
Apple's
even close to
memory charges.
Apple's, yeah.
Because Apple charges.
Apple charges
100
like a $200 difference for fucking an extra 30 gigs or something.
It's 100 for 16 or base is 16, 100 for 32, and then another 100 for 64.
So there's a $200. That's what I said. $200 for nothing, for like 30, 40 gigs. or
Well,
whatever.
it's
$50
$100
gigs.
it's 100 for 32 gigs.
So what? How much is the space that's for the
And then
100?
another 100 for 32. So it's 200 for like less than like
Okay, I see what you're saying.
50 gigs.
No,
That's
well,
what I'm
no,
saying.
because the
That's
first
triple what Sony's
the
pricing.
first 16.
And you guys are okay with that because
Wait,
Apple does it. Oh, I see how it
Wait,
is.
how much is the new $100 one? How much space is it? Does it have?
64 gigs.
64 gigs.
It's not even out yet, though.
There's
Like,
been no announcement of a U.S. release at all yet. Only Japan.
if I knew nothing about this at all, and I had a PS Vita in this fantasy world, and I wanted to buy a memory card, and I thought 64 gigs, I would have gone to the store saying, if this is any more than $25, no way.
Okay, here's the other thing. You don't ever need 64 gigs.
If you have PlayStation Plus, you do.
No, you don't.
Well, you don't need it, but
You
Yeah,
can
I guess.
first you could back them up to your PS3. Your PS3 could hold everything for you.
Mm-hmm.
All you need is a 4 gig card, which are like $15, like $8 used at a GameStop. That's it. You're fine. You don't even need that, but then you can't save your progress. Nothing is bigger
So you
than
do
4,
need that.
Nothing is bigger than 4 gigs.
yeah.
I think there's a restriction on it on
Is there?
purpose.
Oh, that could be.
Nothing will exceed 4 gigs. You can play any Vita game on 4 gigs. It's
But-
more
but-
of a pain in the ass because you got to transfer files back and forth from your.
Can you do that
well, not-
automatically? Or-
Yeah, you have to use the PS3's hard drive, but you can do that. Everything can sit on your PS3's hard drive. If you want to play that one game, you zap it over, you play, you zap it back to your PS3, you pick a new game and zap it over. That's it. You don't have to go
and
buy
if you're
this.
not buy a PS3, well, you don't need to use your Vita.
You don't have to go. What all I'm trying to say is, you guys are like, they're forcing this 64 gig. No, they're fucking
They're
not.
not forcing a 64 gig
They're not
card.
doing that at all.
But
they're forcing a $12 card on you.
realistically,
No,
the
because
$12
we're
card-
lazy and you want to carry your entire library with you at all times.
Yes.
I do the exact same thing. I have 2 16s and a 32, and when the 64 comes out, I'm going to buy it too. But is anyone forcing me to do that? No, I can get by with a 4 gig card. You can.
You can.
You want the life
But
of extravagance, and you blame Sony for it.
Okay, first of all, it's a game console. It's already an extravagance.
Yeah.
So you want to have nice things with your nice things?
I don't really know if that's the storing on the PS3 is a rational thing for a lot of people. I imagine.
But that requires you to have a $300 console or a $200 console.
Nobody owns a Vita and
That
doesn't have a PS3.
You're
Nobody.
probably right, but I'm just saying that
Is for like
that's
the
more expensive.
That is for the PlayStation hardcore.
That's
faithful.
more expensive than buying the memory card.
Well, I imagine if Nintendo were to do something like this, and people would be outraged, wow, I want to play my Nintendo on the go, and oh, I want to play that game. Oh wait, I can't. I need to transfer. I don't know. Well, if it's coming down, I don't know. It's all bullshit, and it's bad for you.
It's unhealthy.
They're coming down in pricing.
Yeah.
Little by little, get it some time, just
I
like
also
everything.
can't believe the Vita doesn't have any onboard storage. Oh, well, the new one does, doesn't it? The new one does.
It's got a gig.
It's got a gig. So it can hold your saves.
So, are there any other things you would do if Sony called you tomorrow?
I can't think of anything. Yeah, we got off track with that. I'm sorry.
Okay. Is it my turn?
Tis good.
It's my turn. I think Sony's doing a hell of a lot of things right, and they should keep the course at the course.
Keep going that way.
Yeah. They should keep going north. That was a ode to the.
To the
To
Halloween
the Halloween
podcast.
podcast.
Yes.
You guys will get that
Tune
when
in.
that releases. That was the other one I was recording.
One thing I would sort of do that we sort of talked about it about in an earlier segment with the PS3. I would actually not do much with the PS4 yet because they have so much hype with the PS4, even with what I consider such few software titles coming out in the first, say, 6 months of the console's life cycle.
Oh, they're selling this thing on the idea of
Yeah,
the future.
they really
It's
are.
awesome.
And I think the people will buy it. I think there will be some buyer's remorse in February and March when people are like, wow, I spent all this money on this and there's nothing to play. Maybe not as bad as Nintendo level, but
See, I don't think that's true because PlayStation Plus, even though there's not physical discs, as many discs coming out, they're going to still give you your 2 or 3 free games a month. There's going to be stuff to play.
Don't you think those will still be playable on your PS3?
No.
Do you think they'll have PlayStation Plus games that are only available on the PS4
Yes.
and the
That's
PS3 will
exactly what they're going to do.
PS3 will have different PlayStation
It's
Plus games?
it's what they already do with the Vita and the PS3.
So what you think
You'll get less PS3 games because it's going to start eating into the PS4, and you're going to have PlayStation Plus free games across 3 platforms. They already do that. Like, if you don't have a Vita and you have a PS3, you're missing out on free games.
Okay.
But they're still there.
Do you think the PS3, the free games they give out on the PS3 are going to be weaker titles than the ones they give out on the PS4?
Yeah, because they're not going to... They'll probably support it really well for maybe the next year. But I think they'll continue to support it, but you're going to get shittier and shittier games because they're going to want to entice you to get the PS4.
Until the last PS3 release, which will be The Last of Us.
Wait, what?
For the PS Plus.
You think they're going to give away The Last of Us?
Not right away, but yeah. They gave away Uncharted.
Okay, so this actually brings me to my next, my first, what I'd want Sony to do.
Go that way.
If I run Sony, I don't know why I'm talking to you. You're like, you're Sony apparently. I would really like them to support the PS3 long term. I still really think, I don't think there's as much of a leap to the next gen as previous generations. So whereas I think they only supported the PS2 as long as they did because of the massive install base, I think they can still support the PS3 longer because I think it's a lot more gray area between the leap of the next gen. And I think there's a lot more money to be made with the current gen that's still untapped. And I think they can make it in the short term. So stuff like along the lines of software. I think, like Sony, just this past month, I believe, they outsold the 360. PS3 outsold the 360 in the United States.
First time in like 3 years.
I think Sony can continue to outsell the 360. And I think they did that because of, they had Last of Us come out this year. Beyond just came out. They had that exclusive Grand Theft Auto bundle. There was a lot of reasons to buy a PS3 this year, and not nearly as many reasons to buy an Xbox 360. And it's clear Microsoft has already sort of thrown in the towel in terms of really supporting their own console.
The 360 is going to be gone. It's the same thing that happened with the Xbox original to the 360.
They're more concerned with future profits, I guess, as opposed to current profits. And I think there's more of a middle ground that I think Sony could reach. I really hope Sony. They have so many studios, and as good as all these studios are making all these new games for the current gen, for the next gen, I say you still put out a dozen games over the course of 2 years for the PS3.
I think they will. I think you're going to be surprised.
Like big games.
Sony's notorious for supporting previous generations. The last PS2 game just came out, and there's still PSP games coming out. Sony's very good at supporting their old hardware. They don't let stuff die until it dies. They almost do it to a fault.
I actually think big games, though. I don't mean just the annual releases of whatever
MLB.
Yeah, who cares about that? This year we got Last of Us and Beyond is I think the 2 big exclusives. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see big exclusives come out next year, and I think there'll be a market for them as the hardware continues to come down in price. Mm-hmm. For $200 is a big selling point I think for the PS3 if they continue to release it, and maybe they can even drop that in the future to maybe a $150 count. If they
next year I think they could.
When you're really competing with a $500 360 or Xbox One, because I really don't think the Xbox 360 is going to be competitive in 2014.
No.
I don't think anybody's going to want to buy an Xbox 360 a year from now. Mm-hmm. But
the only people that'll buy them are people that are still playing 360 heavily, and their shit's out.
Yeah. Well, and there's going to be 20 guys who want to maintain Halo 4 for 3 days after.
Or something.
Yeah, after they want to shut it down.
But I really hope they don't support it, and I think they can do it with software, and I think there's a lot of money to be made by Sony still on current gen.
As for me, I'm the resident Sony fanboy of the podcast. Have been since both of you guys even started. I used to fight with Joe and Mark all the time in the early days, and I talk about it so much and so passionately that I've even started converting fellow podcasters, into some of the great stuff that Sony offers, like PlayStation Plus and all the things. And I think Mark's on the verge of getting a Vita.
Mark has done a 180 though. Like he was like a hardcore Xbox guy when I first met him. Now he like I was shocked when he traded in his count.
I've been talking up Sony for so fucking long that I think it's starting to affect people, and that's my
that plus Sony making some really good decisions lately.
That's my main problem with Sony is advertising. People do not understand how awesome the PlayStation ecosystem is. PlayStation Plus does not have nearly enough members. People don't get it because they're not explaining it well. Mm-hmm. You don't understand that PlayStation Plus, when you buy that $50, which is going on sale for $30 for a year, you're going to get $30 of material in 2 weeks. The other 50 years is just profit that you're making, just signing up for the subscription. You know what I mean?
It's 50 years?
50 weeks.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
I know what I mean.
I get you.
The Vita is getting no advertising. The thing is such an amazing piece of tech, and it's such a cool piece of hardware. It's the handheld I've wanted my entire life, and no one cares because nobody's talking about it. The only stories that come out on the Vita are negative. Its sales are bad, nobody cares, blah blah. That's the only press it's getting. Why are there no commercials? Why and all you have to do is put some of your better first party studios and second party studios behind it to make some software for it. That makes it, because every piece of software that comes makes it a little bit more wantable, a little bit more justifiable. You know, no one person's going to run out and get it just because of Tearaway. No one person's going to run out and get it because of Killzone. But when you have 30 or 40 of these titles, people and the PlayStation Plus members that don't have a Vita, like Mark and Jason, that are starting to look at these backlogs every month that they're getting a couple Vita games for free, and in a year's time they're going to look back and be like, man, I have 30 games for free on my Vita and I don't own a Vita. And I think that's why Sony's not worried about the Vita. Mm-hmm. Because I think that they have a plan, because for some reason sales have struggled from 1 month since this thing came out. Everybody that wanted one got one. The first month was really, really strong for the Vita, and that was it. It's stumbled since then. And
There's
Sony's,
1 or 2 good weeks after that price cut in Japan.
Yeah, and Sony has not worried. They they don't even care. Like, it's just an afterthought. And I think that's because they have a great plan, and I think that developed into the Vita TV, and I think that they understand that they're going to showcase how smart it is to purchase one when the PS4 drops with the compatibility with it. But if I was in charge of Sony, the everything's going extremely well. I think they're in the last maybe handful of years, I think they're doing the best out of all 3 of the companies with everything except advertising. Microsoft has a fucking stranglehold on that. They push the ever-living shit out of the 2 or 3 games that they release a year, and they do way bigger than every Sony game put together.
See, but I like Sony's ads better.
Yeah, but that's
they're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Sony's ads. I don't think there's enough of them, and they're pushing the wrong stuff. Everything's really vague, and it's cool. It's great coin slogans, greatness awaits, all this other stuff. It's great. It's impressive to me, who's already buying one.
But the PS3 ads were not good. Do you remember the original PS3 ads with the baby in the white room, the baby doll in the white room, and
yeah, they got rid of that company.
I only remember it only does everything, and
that was fun.
and then they had the Kevin Butler.
Kevin Butler. Yeah.
But
let me.
That's the thing though. They're pushing I don't know. They're not pushing product. They're pushing software badly. Mm-hmm. Like Killzone or Resistance 3 had a terrible terrible commercial of him riding in on a white horse, Kevin Butler. It was funny,
Mm-hmm.
and it showed off the move that nobody fucking cared about. It didn't showcase the game at all. If you're going to showcase the game, showcase the game. Twisted Metal didn't even get a commercial. Are you kidding? That's one of your biggest fucking franchises. And that's the stuff I think you should be staying away from.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to showcase that. You need to showcase why people need PlayStation Plus, because that's literally free money for nothing. And you're already paying the license to give away whatever, Grand Theft Auto 4, okay? You're giving that away. You already have to pay Rockstar $20 million to give that away to every PlayStation Plus
Do you mean
subscriber.
5? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
No,
sorry.
4. They didn't give away 5.
Yeah. Did they give away Grand Theft Auto 4?
In Europe. Just
okay.
stick with
Sorry.
me, please. All right, so they got to pay Rockstar $20 million to give that away to the PlayStation Plus members in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
What does it matter if there's 5 subscribers or 100 million subscribers? You still have to pay that $20 million. Don't you want to bring in the $50 a year off the additional 95 million people? Like, that's it's just free money. The Vita, like, you need to get these things out. That's their only weak point is advertising for me.
I want to raise a question that's similar to this. Let's say you are head of Sony software development or whatever, and theoretically, from this day forward, for the launch, the window being games that release 12 months to 24 months from now, and you have 20 studios, and they all can work on one game apiece. Hypothetical scenario. What division would you have between PS3, PS4, and Vita?
Okay, I understand the final question. Let me go over the rule. Okay, so you have 12 months.
Yeah, so
12 to 24, the second year.
So games that would release holiday 2014 or fall 2014
Through fall 2015.
Yeah.
Okay.
Through end of year 2015.
And you need a game a month?
No. I'm saying you have 20 games. You have 20 studios that can be.
You have 20 games coming out.
Yeah, just hypothetically. How would you break them down?
12 PS4 games, 1 per month. I would do probably 5 Vita games and 2 PS3 games.
I'd be similar to that. I'd probably do 6 Vita.
1 every 2 months?
Yeah, 1 every 2 months. 4 for the PS3 and 10 for the PS4.
Okay. I think I would do
Like 777 or something?
close. You need to do more for the Vita. You do. I'd say maybe 8 for the Vita. Maybe 8 for the Vita, 8 for the PS4, and maybe 4 for the PS3.
I really think that Sony's banking on the Vita TV at this point, where if a lot of people pick these up, that the third parties will finally step in. Because people are going to pick these up as whatever. Like, there's so many reasons to pick it up. We've talked about this at great lengths, where you don't need to utilize everything to justify the sale. You could just want a cheap Vita. You just want a cheap stream box. You could just want the PS4 to work on a second TV, so you don't have to buy another PS4 because it does that as well. There's a lot of reasons for somebody to maybe want to accumulate these. And if these things sell like 20, 30 million in a year, because they're only $100, and plus the 7 or 8 million Vitas that are in the wild, now you have almost a 40 million person install base. Now the third parties might want to make some games. And they're not going to utilize 90% of what the Vita can do, because they're going to be focused more on the Vita TV, which is a lack of touchscreen, a lack of all this other crap. But it's going to entice people to come in and want to finally make games.
Yeah, I don't know. I worry about. I think I might have mentioned this with Nintendo 2 weeks ago. Not so much on their console front, on their handheld front.
The 2DS is going to dumb shit down now, isn't it?
I think third party development for a dedicated handheld is maybe not dead, but almost. It really close. I don't care if there's 100 million 3DSs out there. You're not going to get top of the line third party games for it anymore. Outside of those select few Japanese based developers, you'll get them from Nintendo. You'll get them from Sega, and
Atlas.
or Capcom. I don't even know about Sega, but and
Yeah,
that's
it.
That's really it.
Yeah, you don't see Ubisoft and EA making tons of great handheld games. You really don't.
You never did though. I mean, Ubisoft maybe, but EA's handheld games are almost always subpar, weren't they?
But to me, that's not the point. To me, even if they are making, a little above par games, you know what I mean? But they're making them. And the Vita library, which I still think is an asinine comment when anybody says the Vita doesn't have games, because that's just ridiculous.
Well, I think for the casual Sony fan or the casual gamer, I do think there's nothing. The problem, I think, with that statement, or not really the problem, but I think the reason for that statement, when you look at the Nintendo 3DS library, which I don't think is really all that great, people can point to 5 or 6 big titles that are
they
like,
want to play.
I want those. I think with the Vita, from what I understand, there's not 5 or 6, but there's like 30 that are all collectively the reason to get it.
Yeah.
But not enough big stuff.
There's not that 1 or 2 that'll sell.
There's
something.
Uncharted, but
That's it. Yeah, it's not enough.
there's no new Super Mario Brothers and Mario Kart and like the traditional games that, And granted, the PSP never had that either, minus Japanese like RPGs. But I don't know if that game exists anymore.
The PSP came out at a different time, though. It was a lot of people's first. I mean, it had simple stuff that was like a perfect storm. It had like a movie player on the go, because this was before smartphones came in. It was a web browser for kids that maybe weren't allowed to play on the computer. It had a built, it was slow and clunky and all these other things, but it was a web browser, and it played games. You know what I mean? So
And it did music as well. There were people who bought it just as a music
yeah,
player.
like an MP3, because this was before the iPod. You know what I mean? Or in the early stages of the iPod. I don't remember exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Came at this perfect time where portable TVs were still $400 or $500, and this thing was a movie player for $199.
They even sold movies on UMD for a while.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That
saying.
didn't take off, though.
So it was kind of like this perfect storm where, again, like I'm looking at the Vita TV, where maybe you didn't care about the games, but you picked one up as an MP3 player, or you picked one up as a movie player on the go because you're a security guard who sits at a desk for 8 hours a day with no one to talk to, or maybe you did care about the games, or maybe you wanted an internet browser for a kid because computers were really expensive when the PSP came out.
Yeah.
They still are, but computer prices have come down. You know what I mean? So like a $200 browser was a lot, because we didn't have smartphones or tablets back then.
No.
So you had to go to a PC, and if they didn't want their kids on it, they're like, here, break this $200 thing, not my $1,400 PC at home.
Right.
So I mean, there was just like a lot of different smaller reasons to maybe acquire one, and the PSP didn't do great by any stretch, but
No, it did. I think that's a very big misconception about the PSP. The PSP did very well. It sold over 75 million units.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It sold like when you think of the PlayStation, it basically was a 2-to-1 ratio of DS to PlayStation. And I know like 100 people that have a DS. I don't know 50 people that have a PSP, but based on statistics, that is the ratio.
Yeah.
Like, it did extremely well. Like, maybe a lot of that is in Europe and in Japan.
Shit, yeah.
But hey, we're a global market, and there in my opinion, there's no way the Vita will do a 2-to-1 ratio with the 3DS, even though the 3DS is going to sell half of what the DS did.
Yeah, I think it's just, to me, it's how they're going to count it. If they don't utilize the Vita TV, I don't see the PS Vita ever hitting 20 million. If they count the Vita TV, I don't know.
Yeah.
It depends how they count, because I mean, it could be considered a redesign. It could be, I don't know.
Yeah, that's blurry. We don't have enough information yet for that. But that could be the spark.
All right.